Well, the year was 1986, and I was all of 20 years old. I had just gotten the phone call to come to Atlanta, Georgia for my face-to-face. I was so excited when I got to Atlanta and saw all the people that were there to be interviewed as well. I immediately began to have all kinds of doubts. I was so young and they all seemed so much more mature, so much more articulate, just so much more everything than I felt that I was. When they called my name to come to the front of the room to say why I wanted to be a flight attendant, I did the best that I could. At the end of that process, the interviewer looked at all 50 of us and said, if we don't call your name out to go further in the process, it's probably because you did not meet one of the requirements. And then she looked me dead in the face in that room and said, if you weren't the right height, that's another reason why you're not going to move forward. I felt like she had just said that straight to me while all the rest of the people were leaving and the 5 names that she had called up were coming forward. I walked up to her and I said, ma'am, I know I'm 5'2". She said, are you now? She goes, I'll measure you one final time. I think there was air between me and that floor. I stood as tall as I could. She then asked me to be the 6th person that day to stay and be interviewed further. I again felt I was out of my element, but I did the best that I could and answered the best that I could. At the conclusion, when the 6 of us were standing to leave, she said, Pam, I'd like for you to stay. And I walked up to her and she asked me a few more direct questions. And then she said, welcome aboard. And that's how I became a flight attendant almost 40 years ago. On June the 26th, which is just a couple of weeks away, I will celebrate 40 years as a flight attendant. And the lesson that I learned from my interview, my face-to-face all those years ago, is to never quit. Don't give up. There's always a way. Don't give up.